بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبع طريقه وطريق آله بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Hello my friends, I hope you are fine. I hope everything is doing well. So today in this lesson I would like to give you some pieces of advice about the most common behavior and problems. The most common behavior problem, and how to deal with them. Okay, so they come into your classroom. Some problems. Okay, in your classroom with varying degrees of motivation and even different skills level. So most are well behaved, and some are terribly ill behaved. As a teacher, as a let's say, I'm not a someone who is expert in this domain, but just I've got 4 years working as a teacher, or I have been working uh, for 4 years as teacher. I would like to give you some pieces of advice. So I said, you can handle students that are less motivated than most, even those that need a little extra help from you to get that particular task done. But we all know that handling unacceptable behavior is hard and can take its toll if it is something you have to deal with on a daily basis. Okay, now the way we handle the day-to-day problems will determine whether the same problems will keep uh, cropping up. So here are I'm going to give you the most common behavior problems in class, and how you can effectively deal with them and nip them in the bud or in the bud. I'm sorry. So the first one, for example, if you have got in your class students are restless, get out of seat, for example. Now I'm going to give you an example. So for example, you are having an animated discussion about ways to help the environment, and a student gets up to look out the window. So for example, in this case, what can you do, or what's the what are you going to do as a teacher? How are you going to behave with this kind of students or pupils? So for example, you are giving your lesson, or you are explaining, and one of your students gets up and look out the window. Now always give clear instruction. Your instruction should be clear. Okay, shouldn't be complicated. Okay, and make sure everyone understand or understands and is engaged in the task. Okay, so your instruction should be clear, and you should get or engage everyone in your class in the task. Now, as soon as a student gets up to do something completely unrelated, walk over the child, or gently take their hand and walk them back to their seat. So, without interrupting the lesson, if this behavior continues, talk to them about the importance of paying attention, participating in the activity at hand, and controlling the your class, I mean, to do something else. Okay, now this concerning the first example I said, when you, for example, you are explaining and one of your students get out or look out from the window. Now, for example, if you have got pupils or learners playing with sometimes they bring toys with them. Okay, they bring toys with them, or they bring things with them, and they use or they play with them in class while you are explaining your lesson. Now now what do you do as a teacher? Gently take the toy and place it on your desk or a shelf. Now tell the child that they can share it with the others during the break. Okay, or make it a habit of encouraging them to bring toys related to something you are talking about in class, like animals, for example. Or sorry, for example, if there are a certain things they are allowed to bring, they might not feel tempted to bring other toys. Now, the next behavior, name calling. Name calling. Example, you are playing bingo. Okay, when you hear a student call or sorry, call a red-headed child Carrot Top, for example. Now, what do? Stop what you are doing and have the child that has called out the offending, or sorry, the offending, yes, name, tell the class what the other student name actually is. Discuss with the class the importance of treating each other with respect and kindness, and why name calling is unacceptable in your classroom and everywhere else for that matter. Okay, now the next one, teasing or fighting or bickering. Okay, I said teasing, fighting, bickering. Example, you have two students, for example, who can say two words to each other. Okay, I repeat, I said you have two students who cannot say two words to each other without starting a fight, for example. Now, class began 5 minutes ago and they are already at each other's throats. Now, what do you do here? Make sure the students who don't get along are sitting as far apart as possible. Discuss with the class the importance of ignoring teasing remarks. Talk about how arguing, talk about how arguing all the time is tiresome, and we should accept differences in points of view, of course. On the other hand, stress the importance of being considerate towards each other and listening to what the other has to say. Okay, now we've got another behavior and how to deal with it, which is throwing things. For example, in your class you are explaining a lesson, or you are writing on the whiteboard and one of your pupils are throwing things. So how to deal with that? So what do? Tell the student that this kind of behavior is completely unacceptable in your class. Go over the possible danger of tossing objects around. Find out if they are doing what they are supposed to be doing, and redirect their efforts to the task at hand. Next one, yelling, shouting out answer. Now, sometimes, for example, when you ask your pupil to answer a question, for example, when you give one of your pupils a chance to answer, the other ones, maybe two or three of your pupils, they give you the answer but without any permission, and they shout. Okay, now here what do you do? Tell the students that they are not being cautious. They did not give the other student a chance to answer. Remind students they should raise their hands if they want to speak. On the other hand, remind that it is not necessary to yell if they wait their turn to speak. Okay, now you will hear them perfectly if they are, if you tell your pupils that you are not going to, you tell your pupils that you are not going to give them a chance if they are shouting and if they are yelling in your classroom. The next one, having private conversation and how to deal with that. Example here, you are asking you are asking your student a question or question of comprehension about a text, and they have a text that they have just read it, and you see that you see three students in the back of the class holding a conversation. Now here what do? You ask ask the students if they are talking about the task at hand. Okay, you ask them, are you talking about the text? Are you talking about the task? Like this. Now another question that you are going to ask them to share their interesting conversation with the rest of class. For example, if they are talking, ask them, would you like to share your conversation with us, please? Now also you can discuss why it is not appropriate to have conversation during class. Okay, next one, when to talk to partner, or sorry, to parents. Now you see that sometimes we are facing some problems with pupils, and but sometimes we need to talk to their parents. Now here the question, when to talk to parents. When you are obliged to talk to their parents. Okay, now as a good rule of thumb, I recommended contacting parents when a specific problem seems to be recurring. Happens every day or several times a week, depending on the activity of the matter. You can either send a note or schedule a meeting, or you would save meetings for things that put the children's well-being at risk. For instance, violent behavior, verbal abuse, or bullying. Okay, there is a line between being misbehavior and being outright malicious, and we can tell the difference. Okay, you can deal with misbehavior or bad behaviors in your class. Malicious behavior should be discussed with parents. Okay, if you see that one of your pupil or one of your students did not stop of doing bad behaviors or misbehaviors, or didn't stop that. So in this case, you can call for parents, or a schedule, you can schedule a meeting for his parents and talk to him about his child. Okay. Now, prevention is the best medicine. Prevention is the best medicine, and believe you me, this is the good way. Now, most of these problems that I mentioned before will be avoided if you set clear rules from the start, from the beginning, from the early beginning, from the first contact between you and your pupils. And I'm going to present or to prepare a lesson about the first contact. Just I'm writing some notes, but I promise you that I'm going to do that. So I said most of these problems will be avoided if you set clear rules from the start. Work together to establish your rules based on how you all want to be treated. Discuss the importance of treating others with respect, as well as the fact there is a time and place for everything, uh, and that some things simply can't be done in class. Don't forget to establish what rewards they will receive for good behavior, as well as the consequences of inappropriate behavior. Okay? Now, what can I say for you, or my last word for you? Don't yell, scream, or shout. The best way to teach students to behave nicely is to lead by example. This is the best way. Don't shout, don't be nervous, don't be angry, don't punish. I mean, sometimes we need to punish them, but try to avoid that. Shouting, yelling, screaming, punishment, this is the last solution. Try to say, as I said, to lead by example. If you have ever encountered problems like this, or others, just tell me how you dealt with them below in the commentary bar. Okay. Now, if you enjoy this video, please help spread it by clicking share or like for the video. And if you are new, I mean, if it is your first time watching my videos, don't forget to subscribe and make a like for this video. See you in another video. Thank you so much for being watching this video. Goodbye, my friends. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.